So, what if I told you that our entire understanding of reality, space and time itself, might just be wrong? What if the universe isn't built on cause and effect at all, but on a single, perfect, geometric object? Let's dive into this because there's a radical new idea in theoretical physics that's challenging pretty much everything we thought we knew.
For decades, physicists have been bumping up against this really deep mystery. See, when they try to calculate what happens when two particles smash into each other, the math is an absolute nightmare. We're talking about equations that explode into thousands, sometimes millions of terms, covering pages and pages of work. But then, after all that, something kind of magical happens. The final answer? It's often just a single, unbelievably elegant line. And this is where it gets really strange. You've got this explosion of apparent complexity on one side, and on the other, the answer is astonishingly simpler. So, why? Why would nature put us through all that brutal calculation just to give us such a clean, simple result? This can't be a coincidence. It's a huge clue, and it's telling us we're missing something really, really fundamental about how the universe actually works.
That simplicity, it's like a little crack in the foundation of physics. It suggests that the bedrock principles we relied on, things like locality, the idea that a cause has to happen before its effect, and unitary, the rule that all probabilities have to add up to one, maybe they aren't the real starting point. Maybe they're just shadows of a much deeper truth. To even get a glimpse of this deeper truth, we actually need to take a step back from all the quantum mechanics stuff. Let's start with something way simpler, something we all learned back in grade school. So, what does it really mean for a point to be inside a triangle? Believe it or not, the answer to that simple question holds the key to, well, everything.
Yep, you heard me right. We are going to build a completely revolutionary new picture of our reality. And we're starting right here, with the basic geometry of simple shapes. This is where the magic really begins.
So, this brings us to a key idea called positivity. It sounds fancy, but it's a super simple rule. A point is inside a triangle if you can describe its location as a positive mixture of the corners. Think of it like a recipe. You take a little bit of corner 1, add a little bit of corner 2, and a little bit of corner 3. As long as all your ingredients, the amounts, are positive numbers, your final point is guaranteed to be inside the triangle. That's it. That simple rule is called positivity.
Now, the really crucial part is that this rule isn't just for triangles. The same idea of positivity can define the inside of any convex polygon. And this is where physicists took a giant leap of faith. They asked, what happens if we generalize this idea? If we take this structure and stretch it out into higher and higher dimensions? By pushing this simple geometric idea to its absolute limit, we're about to uncover something truly stunning, a completely new vision of what reality might be. This really is the question that changes everything. When you take that simple rule of positivity and you don't just apply it on a 2D piece of paper, but you apply it in a much more complex, higher dimensional mathematical space, what kind of object do you even get? You get the Amplituhedron. It's this beautiful, multifaceted geometric object. It's often described as a jewel that exists in a purely mathematical space. And this single perfect object holds the key to that whole mystery we started with. All right, so how on earth does this geometric jewel solve a deep problem in quantum physics? Well, the connection is as profound as it is shockingly simple. Get this, the probability of a particle interaction, that thing that took thousands of pages of brutal calculations, is nothing more than the volume of the Amplituhedron. That's it. All the mind-bending complexity, all that math, just collapses into a single geometric property of one object. That whole explosion of complexity wasn't a feature of reality. It was just us using the wrong tool. It was a really, really hard way of calculating a shape's volume. This just flips everything on its head. The old way of doing physics, it started with these foundational rules we just assumed were true, like cause and effect. But the new way, it starts with just one thing, the Amplituhedron. And in this new picture, locality and unitarity aren't fundamental rules at all. They're just consequences of the Amplituhedron's geometry. They emerge from the shape. They don't define the shape. Okay, so let's just take a breath for a second, because the implications here go way deeper than just making calculations easier. They strike right at the heart of our perceived reality. This quote from the original research paper is just stunning. The physicists who came up with this literally say their new formula for how particles interact has no reference to space-time. The Amplituhedron exists outside of it. It's a timeless, spaceless object. I mean, really think about what that means. If the most fundamental description of what's happening in the universe doesn't need space-time to work, then maybe space-time isn't fundamental at all. It might just be an emergent property, like a shadow cast by this deeper, timeless, and perfect geometric object. Our entire reality, the stage on which everything seems to happen, could just be an illusion. And that leaves us with this final, absolutely profound question. The Amplituhedron suggests that what we see and experience as reality is just a projection from a more fundamental world of pure geometry. So if that's true, and if space-time isn't the bedrock of the universe, then what is?